So we just had a big retreat with a whole lot of people here. And it was a wonderful opportunity to really welcome people into our home. It was a wonderful opportunity to welcome many people here, not just a question of, well, let's fill every bed, but then I think we had some people sleeping in their vehicles and in unusual places beyond that as well. And I had a conversation with one of our guests who mentioned how beautiful it was that we really welcomed people into our home. That's what it felt like to him. And so I was reflecting on this comment a little bit, and what came to mind were some of the family gatherings that we had when I was little. And I don't come from a particularly close-knit family, but our house was one of the better ones to host extended family gatherings. So for a couple of years when I was in elementary school, Thanksgiving or maybe a Memorial Day or Labor Day barbecue would be held at our house where, okay, there's a pool and there's enough space for everyone and there's a yard for the kids to run around in. And so I was thinking back to what that was like. And I, of course, was too young to actually contribute or help. And also, I was spoiled. But it was similar in some ways. We had many people over. I don't know how many, but maybe there was 30 people, which is a lot for like one little ranch house. There was a lot of getting ready beforehand, cleaning up, making lots of food, getting out special tables that you otherwise never saw. And then afterwards, it would be putting all of that away, cleaning up, and then having lots of leftovers. And I mostly remember it being strange and disruptive, that things had to be cleaned up really well, and then I couldn't like go certain places or touch things, and all of these people were around who I really didn't know in most cases, and everything was in a different location, and I just remember kind of going and usually hiding in a corner and finding some normalcy among it. And my experience this weekend was the polar opposite. It felt so wonderful to have all of these people here. I didn't want to go and hide in a corner. I wanted to really lean into this community we had for this retreat, and that felt right. It felt like this is how it should be here, and that the rest of the time is like, well, what we do between retreats, not, oh, this retreat is like the weird thing we do in the middle of our year. So what are the differences between those sorts of family gatherings that we may have all experienced in one way or another and this sort of retreat? I mean, the biggest difference is that this was a very virtuous activity. We had a virtuous motivation. You know, everything we did to prepare was to welcome people to come and learn and practice the Dharma, to transform their minds, to be of greater benefit to others. And so that means that all of the preparation we do beforehand for it and all of the cleanup we do afterwards, if we do it with a happy mind, that can be virtuous too. It's not just, oh, I need to go through and vacuum all of these bedrooms and, go under the bed and find what past guests have left here. But wow, I am preparing rooms for people to come and practice the Dharma with us. And one of the other things I thought that was quite different is that this isn't just family. That maybe at these family gatherings, someone brings a new girlfriend or boyfriend that people don't know. But in general, it's like, okay, there's a group of people you invite. You pick who you're letting into your house. And maybe there's drama around that. But for us, in general, we let anyone come. For the most part, you really have to be out there for us to say, maybe this is not the place for you. And so we are opening our door to strangers, with them asking them to room with one another. So it might be a more of a big deal for them than it is for us. But it's interesting to see that part of why that works so well for us, part of why I could greet these people coming this weekend, many of whom, of course, we did already know, with a much happier mind than some of those family gatherings, is that I've been cultivating love and compassion for all sentient beings by seeing them as kind. Now, am I perfect at that? Of course not. But instead of, do I know this person? What do I know about this person? How are they going to treat me even if they're theoretically my second aunt? Instead of relating to them that way, it's like, wow, this is a friend I haven't met yet. This is someone who is coming and joining us and has similar values and similar interests. let alone the fact that they benefit me by, working in the community and have been my friend and parent and child in past lives. So I really saw that difference in being able to have that open-hearted attitude to welcome everyone. And then the other big thing that I could see that's a bit different is that, for those family gatherings, it's like, okay, you can come and on Thanksgiving or on this day, show up at this time and then leave at that time. This is our house. And if you tried to stay a little bit longer, we would maybe call you a squatter or something and call the police, even if you're family. The rest of the time of the year, it's like, this is our house. We stay in it and others don't come in. And this is not my house here. And in particular, that idea that all of these strangers, they can come almost any time of year. And so in that regard, it's actually quite different from these family gatherings. And what came to mind are those situations that, again, I saw as a child, where sometimes someone would come and stay with us for quite an extended period of time. And this was in some cases maybe an elder family member who is recovering from sickness or from surgery and really needed some place to stay and people to help them. I've also seen other situations where, a dear friend or a family member, moves in with someone because they've lost their job or they're otherwise financially struggling and really can't sustain their own place right now. And I was really struck a few years ago. Hurricane Ian hit quite hard where my father lives. And while his house wasn't damaged, some people he had been friends with, and he actually hadn't talked to them for a few years, but they had been away at the time when the hurricane hit. And when they came back, they found that their home was completely gone. And they moved in with my dad. And I was just so touched by his kindness that he would do that. And again, it was for an extended period of time while they could build a new home and get their life back together. I'm assuming some of our neighbors who lost their homes in the Oregon fire were able to move in with friends or family in the area. But again, probably most people don't just take in strangers who knock on their door and say, hey, I need a place to sleep. But we can do that because we're cultivating this view that doesn't see strangers who are likely to harm us or are likely to cheat us or steal from us, but we see all of these kind, sentient beings around us who are just friends and family we don't recognize. But this idea that, we do have guests come sometimes for longer periods of time and, lay residents, and they also need care. This isn't a good place to come if you're recovering from illness or surgery. I mean, that's not a good time to come to the Abbey. But we all need to recover from the fact that our body is going to fall apart from sickness and injury and aging. And we have to come to terms with the fact that we're going to die. And people come here and they work on that. And people often come here maybe when they've had a loss in their life, job, relationship, and they might be knowing that they need to get themselves regrounded, that they need help working on their mind. They need people to care for them in that way. Or they know they're about to have a big change coming up and want to get grounded first. So just as we might care for a family member or a friend who long-term really needs some help, here we do that for all sentient beings, knowing that they need spiritual help. And again, we open our doors. So the phrase that came to mind was, mi casa es su casa, this sense of hospitality. But we go beyond that. We talk about the Abbey as the home for all sentient beings. It's not just our home. And we're very cognizant, or we try to be very cognizant, of the fact that everything we do here, such as building the Buddha Hall, it isn't just for the practitioners who are here right now. What we're doing is not just for the monastics who are here right now, our guests and lay friends who come right now. It's for the future Sangha. It's for the lay practitioners of the future who maybe haven't even met the Dharma yet. It's for some of our lay friends who come here and will be part of that future Sangha. And all of even just the deer and the ticks and the stink bugs who hopefully will have a good human rebirth and come here, maybe in a few decades or a few centuries. So it's interesting to think in that way and to see that everything we do here, when we're preparing for these events, when we're cleaning up after the events, when we're trying to figure out who left this hat here, all of this is care for this broad community of spiritual practitioners that we see ourselves as part of. And recalling that they're working towards Buddhahood, even though this action of, helping someone get reunited with their hat may not seem like it's benefiting all sentient beings, if I can connect with that person and support them in their Dharma practice, then maybe I can help them get to Buddhahood a little bit quicker. And that is beneficial for all sentient beings. So in that way, everything we do supporting the practitioners who come here to be part of our family and to be in our home temporarily is in fact of great benefit to each and every sentient being out there.